Hi everyone, this is Madeline from the New Brighton Library, and today we're going to be doing a winter hat art project where you're going to be painting a hat kind of like the one I have on. And I'm also going to be teaching you how to make a pom-pom puff ball like this for the top of your painted hat. So in your bag you should have gotten a winter hat template, a ball of yarn, a white crayon, and if you have your own white crayon you can use that as well, and a watercolor set. The first step is going to be to take your white crayon and make a whole bunch of designs on your little hat here. Now it's going to be a little bit difficult to see the designs because your crayon is white and so is the paper, but once you paint over it with the watercolors your designs are going to show up. When you're making your designs, you want to make sure that you're pressing down really hard with the crayon so that your designs will show up. I think I'm going to get started now on my designs. Okay, I have made my designs on my hat. You can see them if I tilt it in the light a little bit. So the next step is going to be to get out your watercolor set. So you're going to need a glass of water, and then you can paint over your hat and see your designs show up. So I'm gonna get started on that right now. Now when you're painting your hat, you don't have to worry about staying in the lines because when you're all done, you can cut it out of the paper. So I finished painting mine. Now it just needs to dry, but I did a little bit of color mixing there, and you can see that my designs started to show up when I painted over them. So I'm gonna let this dry. And while your hat is drying, you can get started on making your pom-pom for the top of it. So you're going to need some scissors and some glue, because when you're done you can just glue it right on top of your hat. So now I'm going to be teaching you how to make a puffball. So you're going to take the ball of yarn that you got in your bag, and you're going to want to untangle it a little bit. Mine got a little bit tangled. Okay. And then once you find one end of it, you're going to want to cut off about 6 inches and just set that aside because we'll need that later. So I'm going to set this little piece aside. And now you want to take the rest of it and you're going to wrap it around your fingers about 55 to 60 times, but just wrap it until all of your yarn is gone basically. So I'm going to start wrapping mine now. So you just wrap it around your fingers like this until you're almost out of yarn. Okay, so I've reached the end of my yarn. I have a little bit left. So you're going to want to take this little piece you have left and slide it up through here and try to push it under the wrapped yarn and pull it out the other side, and then go around one more time just to keep all the yarn that you wrap together so it doesn't fall apart. Okay, so I've got it wrapped there. As you can see, I'm pulling it tight, so now it's going to stay together when I pull it off of my fingers. So now what you're going to want to do is take that piece that we set aside and you're going to want to tie it around the yarn that you wrapped right in the middle so that you have two sides that are about the same. Let me just show you what this looks like. So I tied that piece of yarn that we set aside around the middle here. So on both sides I have these little loops on both sides here, and you want to make sure that you tie it really tight because if you don't, then your puffball could fall apart. So you want to make sure that it's very secure. So you should end up with a side of rings here and a side of rings here, and your string down the middle. So the next step, which is the fun part, is that you're going to want to take scissors and you just hold it like this, and you're just going to find some rings and snip them like that until you've cut all the rings, and then you will start to see your puffball forming. So I'm going to go through and do that. I'm going to start snipping all of these rings, and you can see starting to make a puffball like thing. And it doesn't matter if it's even or not, because at the end you can trim your puffball into a nice shape. Okay, I think I've cut through all the rings now, so you can see I've got the makings of a puffball right here. But if you'll look at it a little bit closer, you'll see that there's some long pieces that don't really fit in. So what you can do now is you can just trim off any pieces that stand out until it's more of a round shape. So you can just go through and trim off the long ones like this. It's like giving your puffball a little haircut. Okay, after the little haircut, then you can just fluff up your puffball and you'll be good to go. Once your hat has dried, then you can cut it out. Here's how mine turned out. And the last step is just to attach your little puffball with some glue. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you the end result. Okay, I've glued on my puffball, and here's how my hat turned out. I think it looks pretty cute, and it's really neat that you can see the designs that the white crayon made after you paint over it with the watercolors. I hope you had fun making your little hat. And keep checking back on the New Brighton Library Facebook and Instagram pages to stay up to date on all the fun activities we have going on. Thank you!